What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs? Welcome back to another edition of the Inside Culture Podcast. I am one half of your host, Alex, also known as UnrealEntGaming, and joining me here today is my co-host, Brandon, also known as DevilArtemis. And joining us here today on the third edition of the Inside Culture Podcast is Jessica, also known as Bubbles, from PopsBedroom, as we welcome you all back to another edition of the Inside Culture Podcast, the very first episode of 2018. Can you believe that? The last time we were here was 2017, my friend. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel fantastic, bro. You know, Happy New Year to everybody
Happy New
watching.
Year to everybody.
You know, definitely a fantastic year. 17 was a good year for me. And now we're back here in 2018, and, you know, it was good. How was your New Year's, Jess?
My New Year's was pretty good. I feel ready to get some stuff done in 2018.
Now, speaking of 2018, we kicked off 2018 with a bang, literally. On January 1st, New Year's Eve, there was a video that went viral, of course, by Logan Paul. Now, there's been so much controversy surrounding Logan Paul because what he did as an individual affected the entirety of the YouTube platform. And with that being said, social media in general just blew up because of what his actions were, insulting an entire culture and pretty much showcasing a dead body in one of his vlogged videos. I wanted to talk about this because this has been an ongoing issue ever since he released his video, and I wanted to get your thoughts as to how you feel about this, because with the events that have occurred with Logan Paul dropping this video, several weeks later, we have the announcement that YouTube will be changing their platform, and we see all kinds of advertisers pull out, and YouTube as a platform itself is getting a bad rep, and we as content creators are looked at as these thirsty view whore monsters that all we really, care for as individuals are getting views and getting money, or at least that's the perception that people have based on what they saw with Logan Paul. So how much do you think this affects the impact of normal content creators such as myself, such as you? We might be looked at as small content creators because in our genre, I have 440,000 subscribers, you're close to 90,000, and that's being looked at as very minuscule compared to 16, 17 million subscribers. So how do you think this affects the platform for little creators like us and everybody else, such as PopsBedroom, Jessica, trying to come up with all of these new rules being implemented and these advertisers having to pull in and pull out? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I feel like content creators who have their sub count like in the millions like that, like someone like Logan Paul, just the brothers in general, I feel like they have more impactful decisions when YouTube comes to, like, if they're going to make a change, they need to look at what is the face of their platform. And usually, well, obviously, the individuals who have the most subscribers, them being the most watched on the platform, they are the face of the platform.
Yeah.
Think about it. If your mascot is the face of the team and they do something wrong or they do something to, destroy that image, you have to make adjustments, The fact that Logan Paul doesn't work directly, like, I would say, for YouTube, in terms of, like, he doesn't work like in the company, he doesn't make executive decisions,
right.
They have to make sure that this one guy doesn't make them look bad. I mean, yes, they're gonna support him no matter what because they are his biggest, their biggest content creator,
right?
But they can't let one guy destroy their image, so they're obviously gonna make changes. And as sad as it is to say, content creators who are just starting out, they're going to have a harder time trying to get into content creation. They're going to have a harder time finding that video that's going to make them explode, or finding that video that's going to really help them take off. It's just, I feel like the YouTube algorithm is favoring those who are already there. Those who it's like first come, first serve.
Those who are drawing the most money.
Yes.
Which, from a business standpoint,
Yes.
you can't blame them for that. Because
no,
as
I
a
understand
corporation,
that.
That's your bottom.
But then YouTube can't say, like, oh, record yourself and make a free YouTube channel, and YouTube is a great platform for you to.
Right.
I mean, it is. But then we come to the point that, like, we're at, for example.
Right.
We have the gods, as I would say, of YouTube, people who have millions. Then we have content creators who are considered, good content creators. We have a lot of subscribers. We have a large following,
right.
But we're not making millions of dollars a year
No, we're not.
off this. You know what I'm saying? He has 500,000 subscribers. I'm close to almost 100K now. I'm about to hit 90K. And I'm not making $1 million a year. You know what I'm saying? But I still consider myself a large, I have a large following.
Right.
But
compared to what those are, for example, the YouTube giants, Superwoman, PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, the Paul brothers,
their decisions will change YouTube as a platform.
No, because they are the voices. They are the voices that really matter.
So
and it's not like our voices don't matter, but
I don't know. I feel like it does. It does.
It does. Our voices matter to an extent as to where someone like, as you said, Logan Paul and Jake Paul are bringing in millions in revenue for YouTube as a corporation. We, as a combined pairing, or maybe us in the community, might be bringing in a couple of $100,000 per se, but nowhere near multi-millions.
Yeah, no.
And this really does. First of all, I want to say this. I feel like any individual out there can make a mistake, either intentionally or non-intentionally, and you can argue in saying that it was intentional because I believe that it was intentional. Whether or not you want to look at it as, well, he was doing it subconsciously, okay, fine. I believe in forgiveness. I don't believe in rapid forgiveness. I do believe that whatever someone does ultimately can be forgiven, and it's kind of hypocritical because when someone does admit in saying they're sorry, what more do you ask for them? I mean, the guy is coming out and donating $1 million, which is amazing. But even though I don't think that you should buy your way out per se.
Well, look at it like this,
right?
Okay, you could have someone who can make a horrible mistake,
right,
and do something really, really. I mean, it's disappointing to see him do something like this.
It's disappointing because he was somebody that just committed suicide.
Right, but he's a role model, and most of his fan base is young.
He is.
Now, a lot of people have been taken down, their channels terminated for whatever it may be.
For the simplest
thing, or for something that is a far less, I guess if you want to call it like a violation of terms of service or whatever.
Right.
Okay, their channel has been taken down over the stupidest shit. But Logan Paul can upload a video like, oh, when I lost my virginity, and have a thumbnail of a girl who's naked in her panties on top of him writing him.
Right.
He'll be fine. It's not like his fan base is young, right? He'll upload a video about a guy who committed suicide and have his dead corpse in the thumbnail.
Which is horrible.
Which is horrible, by the way.
Something that we don't condone either.
And YouTube will still let his channel stand. How is that fair? Only because he's it's kind of like they give him that.
It's favoritism.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's like they slide his little crime under the carpet and forget about it.
At the end of the day, money does talk.
The
only thing that I don't think YouTube really cares about clickbait. They don't care what you do. Just,
as long as
just bring in the money. Now, I wanted to ask you, Bubbles, what's your take on Logan Paul in the situation that he went about in making a mistake? He tried to, I guess you could say, to many people in their point of views, they're saying, well, he's trying to buy his way out by donating $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money. I don't see anybody else donating that kind of money towards a cause. Granted, what he's doing could be for a PR stunt into, creating damage control and trying to prevent his image from looking any worse than what it is. Right. But at the same time, that $1 million is going to help a lot of people. It really is. Whether or not you want to look at him as being a scumbag or not, regardless, that $1 million is going to help out a lot of people that right now are feeling hurt and they feel alone. But what he did as an individual, I believe, is wrong. Do I think that he's trying to scurry away and trying to buy his way out? I think so. What's your take on this, and how do you feel about the whole situation?
Well, I think that the issue with Logan Paul was definitely something that made us question the humanity in the platform, and I think that that comes up with the way that YouTube especially is trying to change their terms and services. But moving forward from that, I think that with Logan Paul's apology video, that was kind of seen as a joke, because though he did seek forgiveness, he did it in a comedic way, and it should not have been done like that. And it wasn't like, I'm sorry for my actions. He tried to make a joke out of an apology after he just made a joke out of a serious topic. And so I think that him donating the $1 million was his way of saying that he recognizes that he did wrong after wrong.
Right.
And that's his way of saying, well, I'd still do wrong, but let me try to make it better.
Would you say that he would be ignorant enough to do something similar again down the road? Because I don't think that he's going to be stupid enough to make the same mistake, because these guys care about exposure. I care about exposure. You care about exposure. As content creators, we care about good exposure. We want to be exposed to a good populace and getting good feedback. We never want to be exposed in a negative way. And he was exposed in a negative way because social media, the news outlets, Fox, CNN, ABC, they were all covering this story and saying that guy is an idiot. You don't want to be on the headline the front page saying, listen, this guy is the epitome of what social media is in terms of stupidity.
Oh, but I see. Listen, if he's gonna be the face of YouTube and making stupid decisions in that way, I mean, that's gonna be making the rest of us look bad. We are content creators, and if people say like, "Oh, if this is what YouTube's about, if this is what individuals on YouTube do, and they make videos about dead bodies," it makes the rest of us look bad. Now, I wanted to ask Bubbles. We were talking about the topic before about, you know, him being the face of YouTube and him really kind of, not just him, but anybody else who has millions of subscribers and a huge following. For someone who has a channel that's smaller or starting out, right? What's your opinion about like moving forward? Like, do you think that him making this decision to do this stupid video and now causing problems for you, or you think it would make it harder for you as a content creator to expand, to grow? Like, what do you think?
Well, I mean, they're definitely making the restrictions more difficult with boosting up the view times to 4,000 hours, and you have to have over 1,000 subs just to make it for monetization. And, you know, so they are dropping a lot of channels that have already been monetized if they don't make these requirements. But I think that, you know, having something as silly as this, something, a mistake that was so large to happen, it made the differences that should have happened in the first place. Because in reality, YouTube is making the changes to the YouTube platform that they should have had a long time ago, making the monetization harder to achieve. But it's just that now it's recognizing that as a small content creator, there was easier restrictions, and it was easier to make it some time ago. And now that an event like this occurs and they're changing it with what seems like because of that event is what makes it the annoying part, because now you feel that these big people that are the face of the community can make these mistakes and cannot get too shamed for it and can still be up there as content creators, and now the little people have to suffer for something like that to happen.
Ironically enough, January of 2017, PewDiePie made the anti-Semitic remarks with the Indians on Fiverr at Apocalypse. January 2018, exactly 1 year later, now we have YouTube changing their policies. We have the exact situation occur with Logan Paul. What baffles me is, as a content creator, you have such influence over a ton of people, a huge mass of people that look at you like an idol, and they respect you, and they go by your word. And for you to turn your back and to say, well, not only to disrespect Japanese culture and saying Pikachu this and that, Hong Kong dong, like he really disrespected the culture of Japan. Like the Japanese culture, the Japan people looked at us Americans as being these savages, these people that are just unintelligent. They're unaware of what our culture presents, and they think that we as people, as a populace, act a certain way and we conduct ourselves a certain way. So he made the Japanese culture look at us as if we're complete monkeys. And I think that it's horrible as a social media influencer to have such a following and to spread negativity like that. And not only that, but Kavos, big shout outs to Kavos on YouTube and Twitter. He made an exposed video talking about how every single one of Jake and Logan Paul's videos, they always plug merch. There's nothing wrong with plugging merchandise. Listen, as people, as entertainers or social media influencers, we need to sell merchandise. It's what gets us by, you know, in our lives and helping provide. That's fine. If you want to support your favorite content creator, do that by purchasing their merchandise. However, during each and every single one of their videos, multiple times during certain sections, they're always saying, you know, cop the latest Maverick merch, cop the latest Team 10, blah, blah, blah. Even during music videos, they do it during, you know, serious topics and debates. If someone gets hurt, there was a video recently where one of Jake Paul's friends in the house got hurt. I think he hurt his leg. Jake Paul said, well, maybe if you cop some Team 10 merch, that foot would heal. You know, it's very condescending. So what's your take on the Paul brothers' ideology in focusing more or less on just the money concept. Because listen to me, there's nothing wrong with trying to live the American dream. A lot of people will argue and saying that the American dream is dead. Because what is the American dream? The American dream is for you and your family to live a good life. That's what we all want as people.
Right.
Is it right or wrong, in your opinion, in the method and the approach in which Jake Paul and Logan Paul are taking in doing whatever it is they need to do as individuals to get to their end goal, even if it means destroying a video sharing platform to get there? What's your take on that?
Listen, everybody is doing YouTube for a reason.
Yeah,
some people
right.
want to improve their living situation.
Yep.
Some people are doing it for family.
Yep.
Some people, you know, maybe they have a family member who's sick and they're the caregiver.
Yep.
I understand that. Trying to choose my words carefully. Like the Logan, the Paul brothers, they're trying to achieve their end goal by any means necessary, but they can't destroy the rest of the content creators as in the process. Right. Okay, you can't use everybody else as, you know, as a carpet or something, like just walk over them. You can't do that. We're people too. You understand? We have families as well. It's not just about you. It's not LoganPaul.com. It's
right.
YouTube.com.
This platform shouldn't be about me versus you. You know, because that's
right.
that's what it seems.
I mean, no, but look,
at the end
of
the
day,
Paul brothers versus everybody else.
Right. That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
at the end of the day, YouTube is a business.
It is.
And in a way, you are competing with somebody. But here's the thing. There is no limited amount of views. Views are endless. If you think about it, how many times do you go on YouTube and look up a song that you want to hear?
Yep.
And you always either watch the same video, right, to listen to the same song,
or the lyrics, you get
right,
yeah,
or you add it
lyrics.
to like a music list that you have. Views are endless. The same person can watch your video multiple times. They can share it.
Playback
that person
value.
Exactly. Views are endless. If I have 1,000 subscribers, who's to say that 900 of those subscribers also aren't subscribed to him or her? Do you understand what I'm saying? Views are not limited to the person. Just because someone is subscribed to Logan Paul doesn't mean that that's the only person they watch. They are probably subscribed to 50 other people.
Yeah, of course.
Now, that views aren't the issue. The issue is you destroying anyone's chances of making money in you know, just to sacrifice. You sacrifice them for you. You know, that's kind of just being selfish.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like the American dream isn't dead. I feel like anybody can, if they have the talent and they have the dedication and the time, they can get somewhere.
They can.
Last year, in March of 2017, I started a YouTube channel. I had under 1,000 subscribers. It is not March yet. It is January 2018, and I am almost at 100K. I'm about to break 90K. It hasn't even been a year yet, and I work hard every single day to upload a video. This guy right here, UnrealEntGaming, uploads like 5 videos a day. We bust our ass on this platform to make a living, to bring in some kind of money on the table, to help our families, to get somewhere, right? We work hard. We're not lazy with the platform. We work hard. We grind, man. When you hear people like, dude, let's get that grind in, we grind to get that money.
And many people don't understand what the grind is.
Right. When people
it takes a lot of time and energy out of people.
Listen,
people don't know that.
When people say you gotta grind, you gotta grind. You gotta make videos, and you just gotta, like, sometimes it causes problems with your family. Yeah. You know, with your job, with your friends, personal life.
You have no social life at all because you're always focused in your work. See, people don't know what it's like to be a YouTuber behind the scenes, because I'm not trying to deny the work that Jake and Logan Paul put in. It's easy for them because they have editors, they have people working for them. I am doing multiple videos per day, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos per day, and I'm editing every single one of them, whether it's a discussion, a Dragon Ball video, whatever the case may be, with this man and this woman, and it varies, and it takes a toll on me, because if I had an editor, I would be able to, you know, save myself 3, 4, 5 hours a day in doing what I have to do. This man does animation now. He's doing all kinds of things. Very talented individual.
Thank you.
And I can only imagine how much time it takes for you to simply adjust the mouth flapping for, like, you know, animation or something like that. So you don't have an editor to do that, because if you did, you would save yourself, I would assume, 3, 4 hours of your time, maybe, give or take.
Yeah.
And you just started technically on a platform to where you don't have anybody else, but you're working with a team, but you don't have any editors, and you know what it's like to jump in there and do a few.
Edit your own
so
stuff.
it's really, you know, time consuming. But I just feel like as a social media influence, not saying that we're not, because in our community, surely, okay, we are an influence to many, but being seen on a worldwide scale, YouTube Rewind, collaborations. Logan Paul did a collaboration with The Rock. All right, none of us here sitting down has ever even contemplated an idea with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Let alone
he is
do
such
a video.
legend, man.
So he did videos with, you know, Kevin Hart, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, celebrities, A-list celebrities.
But Logan Paul is a celebrity.
That's what I'm trying to say. That was my point. You now are not looked at as just a YouTuber. You're a social media influencer and a celebrity, to what you just said.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, yes, people make mistakes. I have made so many mistakes. I'm pretty sure you have as well, and I'm pretty sure Jessica has as well. We've all made mistakes, and I think what separates us, not putting us on a higher pedestal, is the fact that we don't try to make those same mistakes and repeat them. We learn from them.
I've made multiple mistakes. I've gotten in a car with you like 5 times now.
I mean, but you're still alive, right? You're
I'm still alive.
You're still alive. But I'm saying we make mistakes, and we will continue to make mistakes. However, I would never make a mistake. Speaking for myself, I would never make a mistake to where I would go out and film a dead guy or insult an entire culture before their very eyes. For example, you would never see me go to Japan and throw a Pokeball at some Asian guy. You know,
I saw that.
That's what he was doing.
It was funny, but that was disrespectful.
No, it was disrespectful because they look at you as a stupid American who came to this country.
He's making America look bad.
And you're throwing Pokeballs.
Yeah,
at
he's making America look bad.
Do I believe that Logan Paul can be forgiven? Yes. Do I believe that he wants forgiveness in kind of like a condescending way? $1 million donation here. Let me be more educated on suicide. Yes. Do I think that he's going to learn from this? Hopefully, fingers crossed. But going back to Jessica, what I wanted to ask you is, what's your overall perception on the Paul brothers? Because they came from Vine, and what's funny is 2016 going into 2017, Jake Paul was the first one to say, you know, PewDiePie is next in his little song. I mean, he targeted PewDiePie and saying, I'm going to take your spot. And to a degree, he kind of did. Even though, congratulations to PewDiePie for reaching 60 million subscribers, Jake Paul is still beating him in views. Jake Paul is still gaining more subs. That's saying something. So what's your perception knowing these guys and what they do? And to prognosticate further as we transition into the next topic, where do you see the Paul brothers going into 2019, finishing off the year? Do you see the platform getting better for medium-sized creators and little creators such as yourself? Or do you see the platform just getting worse as we continue on with people like this being in the platform?
Well, hopefully they'll respond as the community responds, and as the people who are the viewers and as the smaller creators respond, YouTube as a platform will realize how to make it better for not just the big people, because at the end of the day, Logan Paul and Jake Paul are not going to be around forever, and they're not always going to be the ones making the big bank for YouTube. They may be #1 for a while, because look at PewDiePie still being at the biggest 60 million.
Do you guys remember when Nigga Higga was the
biggest
one?
Yep.
Ray William Johnson
was the big guy.
Yeah.
You know, all these older YouTubers, I mean, they're still around.
Yeah.
But they used to be
not the
number
face
one.
anymore.
They're not the face.
Everything changes.
Yeah. Nigga Higga used to be #1. And
it's like wrestling. It's like Rock, Stone Cold, and it's John Cena.
Right.
Yeah,
everybody has their time.
Yeah,
Nothing is forever. And I feel the Logan Paul brothers, they may be the hottest thing now, but who's to say that 2 or 3 years from now, someone else won't come.
UnrealEntGaming and DevilArtemis might
They might come along and be the next big thing.
Sweeping the platform. But I think that honestly, it's difficult because I have 2 other channels that are very small, and I'm trying to build them. And it's very hard because with such an impact that Logan Paul and Jake Paul create with this new system being implemented, it's hard for me to establish a little channel, considering that I have one massive channel and the other 2 are like babies trying to come up. So it's not 2015 anymore, because back then it was a lot easier, 2015, 2014. But hopefully by the end of the year, there is a positive change. I doubt it, but who's to really say? But you know what's interesting about things ending and things coming about? Dragon Ball Super, right? Dragon Ball Super is coming to an end. That's confirmed. The March 25th is going to be the final episode, episode 131. And there are people in the community that are happy. There are people that are sad. Whether or not you're on the fence of liking the anime, hating the anime, if you want to criticize every little bit and piece of the anime, it's up to you. What I wanted to ask Bubbles, and following you, Brandon, is what's your take on the ending? How do you personally feel to start off? How do you personally feel about Super ending just so abruptly, just out of the blue, even though it was hinted in 2017 and 2016 that, oh, we're going to end it. We're going to go into the ending of Z. That was already confirmed. We're going to go into the ending of Z. And then here we are. New Year kicks in. We made predictions. We were wrong. We can admit that because we have something called humility. We can admit when we're wrong. We expected the best, and it's just getting cut short. So, Jessica, what's your thoughts on Super ending in March? And do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that it's ending?
Well, I think it is abrupt, like you said, that they just announced it's going to end, because we did expect it to continue after they brought it into the ending of Z. But I think also with that announcement of having a movie and knowing that a good majority of the team is going to be working on this movie now to make it the most excellent movie and just go hard on this movie, I think it does make sense that they're going to give you some segue between the show and the movie, just because, you know, what more were they going to continue after the Tournament of Power? They're going to give it the segue into Z, but then after that, there's room to create a whole new story. And so I feel like, you know, Super's been running since 2015?
2015 of July.
And hasn't it been running consistently since then?
Consistently, with,
they don't
with
take
a few
really,
breaks.
just a few week breaks, really. They don't take seasons off like, you know, our shows will. Like, because I know a lot of shows will take a year break, take a season.
No, like The Walking Dead will probably, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, like
6 months.
Well,
6,
I mean,
8 months.
like a few months. Like I think like it'll end by near the end of October,
And then it comes back sometime
like
around
in February or January, around there,
Yeah.
sometimes later.
Yeah.
But it takes a few months off. You know, it takes like 4 or 5 months off. A lot of shows do that. The Flash does that. I mean, I know because I watched these shows.
Yeah.
Just recently, The Flash, DC show, just came back, and it was gone for like, you know, 2 or 3 months, and that's how a lot of shows do that. But yeah, continue, Jess. The Dragon Ball Super doesn't do that.
Because I just think it's crazy that, especially for something to animate, to be animating the same characters and to be doing the same voiceovers, for all these people that work behind the scenes, to sit there and do this consistently since 2015 and only having the couple week breaks that they may get in between episodes is kind of really crazy, and you realize that it is strenuous. And, you know, obviously they have a good team working behind them and they have people that can produce it, but they do want to go hard for the movie to make sure that this is a movie worth watching and a movie that's going to be remembered. So I think it kind of does make sense that leading it into the end of Z, stopping it there, because then there is possibility to leave it open for another show afterwards, because there's stuff we didn't get to see after the end of Z.
I mean, I feel like with where they're going with this movie, with the whole Saiyans, they're focusing on the Saiyans and stuff. I don't think that Dragon Ball Super necessarily is going to be the last of the Dragon Ball franchise.
Oh, no,
that we
no.
see.
See, people get that confused. They're going to think, well, Dragon Ball is over. Dragon Ball's not over. Dragon Ball Super, the show
Dragon Ball Super is probably... All right, think about it like this. Like, think about it like Dragon Ball, right? When Dragon Ball ended and Dragon Ball Z came about, it's like a continuation of the franchise.
Yes, it is.
So same thing. Yeah, after Dragon Ball Z came GT, even though it's not canon. I'm saying, you know, the franchise still continues.
Yes, it continues.
Now,
the franchise will continue.
Yeah,
That's
so,
what we're trying to elaborate.
So
but
after Super ends in March, will I be upset? I mean, yeah, because I mean, I like watching Dragon Ball. I look forward to, whether I'm enjoying the arc or not, I still enjoy the fact that Dragon Ball is ongoing, and that I can, and I have the privilege to be able to sit down in my room and watch this amazing show
every weekend.
Every weekend, okay?
Especially a show you know growing up.
Exactly.
It was one of your favorites. Yeah,
and it's more than just nostalgia. It's a connection, an emotional connection you have with the show, because especially if you feel so passionate about it, passionate enough that you build a YouTube channel around it, or you're always referencing to it, or you know that's the games that you play it of the series. You have shirts like Dragon Ball shirts and
Dragon Ball
action
to an
figures.
extent. Dragon Ball to an extent has helped so many people get by. It's helped me get
it's
by
also
as a person.
influenced a lot of animes.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the, not just with the score, whether or not you're a Falconer fan, Sumitomo fan, whatever the case may be, Super, Z, Kai, music has helped a lot of people get by. People who still use the music to, you know, work out or whatever. The characters, the influence of characters, for example, Vegeta's personality and always wanting to be the best, people use that as motivation. So Dragon Ball has helped a lot of people get by. So it's it's unfortunate that it's coming to an end so quickly because we all expected to see, okay, well, what after? Maybe the stuff involving Oob, maybe the stuff involving so-and-so. Good thing or a bad thing that it's ending, in your opinion, just so abruptly?
I mean, I feel like it's a good thing that it's ending only because we, as fans, before we knew about Super, we always wondered where Dragon Ball would go.
Yeah.
There's always, we had Toyotaro before when he used to go by Toyble or his other name.
Yeah.
He made the Dragon Ball AF manga.
Yes.
And that was a continuation after everything. What happens after Oob? We never got that, that chance. So now that Dragon Ball Super is most likely going to end at the end of Z, because I'm pretty sure the end of Z is 5 years after Kid Buu was defeated.
Yes.
That's the time.
Yes.
If Dragon Ball Super is going to end and then they're going to do like a 5-year time skip and they're going to get to the ending of Z, there's a possibility that we can actually move on after that. Like we can go somewhere afterwards. We can begin to explore the canon version of what happens after Kid Buu.
Right.
Of course, non-canon version, we know that Goku goes to train off with Oob and GT.
Yeah.
Right, but I want to know what happens, canon-wise, and there's a possibility that can happen after the movie. Right now, it's too early to say. I'm really excited about the movie. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel. I'm excited to see a movie because I always was a fan. I've always been a fan of the Saiyan race in general. Them just being like these pirates that just ravage planets and stuff like that.
Yeah. And this is going to be the origin of who they are.
That's
but the only thing is, March, we're going to be getting definitive information in March. So make sure you guys tune in for that. March, we're going to be getting the details, the rundown, everything about the film, the plot, which I'm very excited for.
I'm excited too.
Do you think this is going to take place before or after Planet Vegeta, Planet Sadal? Like, what is this movie? Like, what is it going to center around?
Well, I think
Yamoshi? Because a lot of people are talking about Yamoshi. What do you think about that as well?
I think that's going to be crazy because I think they introduced Yamoshi for a reason.
You think so?
So they have every reason.
What do you think?
I mean, I feel like if they're introducing it for a reason and Toriyama had the need to explain the SLs and all the, the Super Saiyan explanation, I feel like, and then on top of that, we had the recent Battle of Gods with the original Super Saiyan fighting. There could be a possibility they can go with a few ways. They can go with the origins of the Saiyans, where how they just completely originated, and how King Vegeta came to be, or wherever. It depends what time period.
Imagine they take the Metachlorian route from Star Wars. How would you feel about that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's what they're going with the SLs.
Oh
I mean, I feel like that's what they're going with. The more SLs you have, the easier it is for you to be able to transform to Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
But I feel like it depends what time period we're going to for the Saiyans. Are we going to right to the very beginning, or are we going to?
Because we're bound to have Goku, Vegeta, etc. in the film. You can't have a Dragon Ball film without.
But let's think about it like this.
Technically,
wouldn't it be cool if the movie ended and we saw a kid King Vegeta, not Vegeta that we know, but King Vegeta. You know what I'm saying?
Right, when he was a kid.
Yeah, when he was
Growing
a kid.
Up.
No, I'm saying the movie ends what will we name this child? He deserves the name of a king.
Yeah.
We shall call him Vegeta. You know what I'm saying? And that's how early we're going. And we end the movie.
That predates even before.
Right,
King
that
Vegeta.
predates. And then we discover, so that's where King Vegeta came from.
Right.
Who gave, he had Vegeta and so forth. Now we're here. If that's how early we're going back, that's cool with me. Or we can go super early and go all the way to where in the Battle of Gods, where they mentioned the original Super Saiyan God and how he had to fight the other Saiyans.
He was defeated, but nobody knows what happened.
Right,
to him.
We don't know what happens to him. I mean, I think didn't they mention that his spirit
roamed to
find,
I think 5 other Saiyans.
His spirit roamed around. But if that's what they're going for, I'm okay with that too.
Right.
Point is, I love the Saiyan race. I'm a huge fan of the Saiyan race. I'm a huge fan of the Frieza race. So anything that has to do with these individuals, I'm down to see. I love it. I really do. I find the Frieza race fascinating, and also the Saiyans as well.
What do you think, Bubbles? What is this film going to be centered around? And do you think that, in your opinion, going forward, after the movie's released, do you see there being a possible chance in us seeing a new series? Or, similar to Battle of Gods, we're going to get another film like Resurrection F before we get another series? I mean, or do you believe that there's going to be no series at all? What do you think after the film?
Well, I think that for the film in general, they introduced Yamoshi for a reason, so that's who I am excited to get to see in the movie, because clearly they put thought into bringing about his character, and they want to give explanation as to where this Super Saiyan God came from, because Super Saiyan Blue has been something that's been essential to the storyline of Dragon Ball Super, so to give the background finally behind such a character would for me be really cool to see. And then moving past the ending of Z for Super, I think Oob has been such a character that has had so much hype behind him, and all we really got from Oob was that tournament episode and seeing him in GT. And honestly, we barely saw much of him in GT.
Well, let me ask you something. At the ending of Z, Oob was learning to fight and actually going blow for blow with the base form Goku. And if this is post-Super, Goku's strong. I mean, post-Super, you know, having defeated Jiren,
they could change that.
I'm just saying, but I'm just saying.
They can upscale. They can upscale.
If you watch the ending of Dragon Ball Z and you watch that episode, I know because I've watched it recently.
Right.
Goku doesn't turn Super Saiyan. There's
no.
They literally can fit.
He has
this
no need to.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm saying they could fit this entire Dragon Ball Super, and they could literally have that last episode completely remade, and it'll make sense.
Yes, it would.
Because
Yeah.
it's 5 years afterwards. They mention nothing about the gods. You know, it's just like, you know, they're living their normal life. You know, they're living their normal life.
Depending on who wins the tournament and what the wish is.
No, right,
The gods could exist.
Right.
The gods could. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like that's what's interesting because we don't know.
I mean, there has been promo material that says the time of the gods is at an end or whatever. There's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Something horrible is going to happen.
Which-
I still haven't seen something horrible happen. I don't think I've seen something super horrible happen. I mean,
Frieza wins maybe. I mean, that's,
you know,
that's
I
pretty
don't
bad.
know what's this horrible thing that's going to happen, and I don't know, you know, how the time of the gods is going to come to an end.
But let me ask you, after the film, what do you think? Another movie, another series, or nothing?
I think more games, definitely. Dragon Ball games will be a
aside
must.
from the game, no, because we're getting Dokkan is Dokkan.
Well, I feel like Toriyama has lost his interest in his series, you know, any interest in continuing it for the long term, because he's already done it for so long. Dragon Ball has been around for a long time, okay? And for him to grow a character from a child, you know, all the way to where he is now, okay, I feel like he has no problem having someone else do it for him. If Toei Animation can do it for him and Toyotaro can do it for him, I mean, I still prefer Toriyama's artwork, but Toyotaro, he does a good job.
He does an amazing.
He
job.
does an amazing. I mean, there's still his is more like blocky and kind of like, I don't know. It doesn't feel as fluid and as sharp.
Right.
That's the term I want to use. Sharp as Toriyama's artwork, but I feel like if Toriyama will hand that off to Toyotaro and then he continues it, I enjoyed Dragon Ball F. I think, you know, it was pretty hype. I like Zycor, the character design.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I believe that Toyotaro has the potential to continue a Dragon Ball series in the correct way if he wanted to. In the manga, you can see parallels from the manga
To the anime.
to well, I mean, classic Toriyama.
Well,
like as far as even the stances, like Vegeta's stance.
That's why Toriyama
You know,
hand selected
yeah.
him. Yeah,
And I mean, all right, there's this one scene I'm going to specify when Goku and Vegeta were training in the time chamber, which wasn't shown in the anime, where Goku takes his classic stance.
Oh yes, and
when he's in the
Vegeta
rock,
does
yeah,
as
and
well.
Vegeta, you know, takes that stance that he does at the rock
as Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's insane, and like not even just that, like just. There's so many other things that just he does perfectly to capture that essence that Dragon Ball used to be. And I feel like if he does this, me personally, I enjoy the manga more. I think it makes more sense. I think it's a lot more structured because there aren't a lot of people working on it at the same time. If he does this and he is in charge of the new either manga or anime, it's going to be fantastic. I love Toyotaro's, you know.
So would you say that there will be a new series
Yes, I say there will definitely be a new series.
after this film, or maybe another film after this film?
It depends how this film performs, and you know.
We know. Let's be
I
realistic.
mean, yeah, it's gonna perform well.
This movie's gonna do well.
It's a freaking Dragon
So,
Ball
what
movie.
do you think?
I mean, I think yeah, definitely. There's gonna be another series.
2019.
And 2019, bro. Listen, Dragon Ball,
It seems quick, does it not?
dude. Dragon Ball,
Not denying that it won't.
Dragon Ball drags in
Yeah.
a shit ton of money.
It does.
And look at it like this. This is a new generation.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is an old series, and Dragon Ball Super is a new series that is dragging in another generation. It's already dragged us in. We saw it when it used to air on
Yeah.
Toonami. We saw it back in the day.
Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Z, Kai, and
freaking
GT.
GT. We
Yeah.
saw everything, okay? Now, this is a new generation. There are young kids who are watching this stuff. If they have a chance of milking this,
Watch Dragon Ball, by the way.
yes,
The original.
If they have a chance of milking this the same way they did the other series, why not? That's
Yeah.
better for me,
Yeah.
dude. If I can grow, if I know from 10 years from now, okay, from my age right now, 10 years from now, that we're going to have another Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball still going to be here.
That's if Toriyama decides to hand it off. If not,
Yeah.
remember this. Hironi died. Rest in peace to her. That impacted a lot of people because she was the first ever voice to be introduced in Dragon Ball. consider this. You're a voice actor / actress. You're a part of the production team. You find out all of a sudden Hironi dies. Knowing that you've been a part of this team, like Masako, for a very long time, and you know, like, damn, like, one of my good friends has just passed away. You can't emotionally, and plus, think about it, after the tournament, they were going to go home anyway. Go home to who? Who's Vegeta going to go home to, right? We need to replace him. We can't just add in someone else just to replace Bulma. That's a big thing. So I think that her death did impact a lot when it came to production and staff. How do you feel about this, Jessica? Do you feel as if Hironi's passing had something to do with them having to just shut everything down and move on and do something different, or is this some sort of like a production thing? Because I feel like Hironi's death did impact a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure that behind the scenes something is going on to where people just don't end things abruptly like that. I mean, they'll give you a set time, like, okay, well, the ending is here and that's that. I'm not saying that they didn't give us an end date, but they did, and it was a very short window. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I think especially with how short it was for them to announce the ending of Super, that it definitely does have to have some sort of influence from the death of such a major voice actor to the series. She's been in Dragon Ball since the beginning, and so especially to voice a character like Bulma that is not an easily replaceable character, or isn't one that you can just slide and pretend like, you know, you can just go forward without the character. She is an essential character to the storyline and has been since her introduction. So to move forward past the Tournament of Power and go home after the tournament and not have a voice actor to fill the spot of one of the major female voices, it's not like someone else can just entirely replace this character for another few months worth of content. So for playing it off in the tournament, she's not in the tournament clearly, and she's not in the viewing stands, so right now her voice is not needed.
Well, I mean, her last work that was actually, for those of you who don't know, her last piece of work was Dragon Ball Fighterz. This is her last work for the Japanese voice actress of Bulma. But just think about, to try and connect with like the impact of losing someone so important. Think about, for example, if you guys aren't really big on the Japanese dub, say you're really big on the English dub. Can you imagine anyone else playing Sean Schemmel as Goku? Can you imagine anyone else doing the Super Saiyan 3 transformation?
Well, there are many people that will argue and saying yes. But,
well, no, but I mean, for me, Goku.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Sabat, for me, will always be Vegeta. I enjoy his Vegeta voice.
As many others would say, Brian Drummond is theirs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think we got that a little bit with just the dub recently.
Brian Drummond,
having
both
Vegeta.
Yep.
Yeah, but he did a copy Vegeta in Dragon Ball Super.
Which was great.
I enjoyed the Ocean dub.
I did.
I thought it was fine, but see, here's the thing. For me, I feel like when you portray a character for such a long time, let's use an example. Like, for example, let's say Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
If Scooby-Doo or Mickey Mouse or Sonic or the Powerpuff Girls, if their character's replaced, the character's still there, but it just doesn't feel the same.
Value?
It loses its value because a character, an animated character, 90 to 80% of that character is the voice.
Ash from Pokemon.
Ash from Pokemon, perfect example.
Ash from Pokemon.
Ash from Pokemon was Ash with his voice. Once they replaced Ash,
it was over.
It was over.
He
lost his.
And the animation,
it
was over. Yep.
Listen. The voice of a character makes that character 80% of that character, and if the voice that you get to replace that character isn't even close, it's not gonna sit well with the fans.
The character's there, but it loses value.
They replaced.
It loses a lot of value.
They replaced Damian Clark, who was the voice of Perfect Cell in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
They replaced him, I believe, after Raging Blast. I believe there was a certain game.
Was it Raging Blast 2?
They replaced him in Raging Blast 2, I think, or they replaced him in Raging Blast, something like that. They replaced him, and the new guy, he was like super deep. I mean, he kind of sounded like Cell, but not really.
Right.
You know, and he just sounded weird, and he didn't sound right. And I'm like, this isn't the Cell that I know. You know, this is. I enjoyed Cell like with his Budokai 1 voice.
Yes,
you know, in Budokai 2, Budokai 3, you know, the Cell that I know. You know, Damian Clark. Like, this is the Cell that I enjoy him as a Cell voice actor. This new guy, I already forgot his name. That's how irrelevant he is to me. He just, he wasn't the character for me. The voice makes the character. So for the fact that, Bulma, for those individuals who were really big fans of Bulma, like, it's just not going to be the same not to have her voice in the character. Same thing with Japanese voice actress, for Goku. A lot of people don't like the like the
Yeah,
high
well,
pitched
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But
People don't.
I mean, I enjoy it. I freaking
they're
I'm used
uncultured.
to.
Yeah, they're uncultured
Yeah.
because that's where
But
it
it's not
stems
even
from.
my culture. I'm
Right,
American, but I
right,
still
right.
enjoy it. Like I don't have a problem with Goku sounding that way. Sure, when I first started watching it, I was like, why does he sound like that?
That's because that's you as
Yeah.
as a new viewer.
Right,
But
as a new
you
viewer.
understand that it's like
As you
okay,
dive
yeah,
into
right,
Japanese
right.
culture and you understand voice acting and like the essence of what the character is, she does a fantastic job at yelling. She's an old lady.
Absolutely. Not only
Like-
that, but she plays Goku and Gohan.
Yeah, and she also plays Bardock and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Goten and stuff like that.
she
She
does
plays
great,
the whole family.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic.
And I'll be the first one to say, God forbid if something were to happen to her,
That would be devastating.
I think that would be it.
That would be
if
it,
you
yeah.
I
wanna-
don't think
if-
it could continue past
No,
that.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about the end of Dragon Ball,
Death of the actor.
I think for her, nothing against Hironi. I just think that for her specifically,
She's the main character. She's Goku.
She is arguably in Japan for the Dragon Ball cast
The
the
most
most
important.
well known,
Right.
and the most, I would say, influential. Granted, some people might say, "Oh, it's this and that." I think that if something were to happen to Mosako, I think that would be it. I
Yeah.
think that paying homage to her and her legacy, it would be it. Even though she wants to do 700 episodes of Super, which a lot of us were like, "Oh, are you really?" Because that's like, whoa, she wanted that. Are they going to? No.
That lady is like hype walking,
Is she?
man.
Is
She's
she?
walking hype.
Is she passionate about it? Yes.
Yeah, man. But I love that.
I
though.
think that it could be a time. It could be a time where it's time for them to look into replacements. Is it going to fit? Probably not. Because
she's getting older. She's getting up there in age.
Yes,
and
I'm not saying replace the cast, but I'm saying you'll never know. And I don't think, in my opinion, they've considered replacing, but you need to keep that in the back of your head. Like, okay, well, just like Batman, Superman, just like all these characters characters that have lived on since the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And there comes a point in time where you have to sit there and you have to say to yourself, okay, there's such an investment in this product. What happens when that actor or actress ends up going? What do we do then? They've replaced, how many times have they replaced Batman, Superman, Joker?
Oh yeah, no.
Tons of times.
Yeah, I get you.
So I think that
But for me, Mark Hamill will always be the Joker.
yes,
it's a character.
to me as well.
You know?
I just think that, in my opinion, unlike anybody else, there's no replacement for Mosako.
I get
If she were to go, where the hell do you go from there?
Me personally, I feel the
So-
same way about Sean Schemmel. I feel like his
Yeah.
Goku is just. I've listened to the other Goku
Right.
dubs, but I just feel like Sean Schemmel sits the best with me. His screaming is fantastic.
I just really hope that Dragon Ball continues. I mean,
I really do as well.
I hope so too. And you know what's interesting? You brought up Fighterz. Fighterz is a brand new product, and it depends on where you are on the fence. Some people may like it, some people may hate it. When I first heard about it, I was like, meh. Leave that towards Injustice. Leave that towards Mortal Kombat. But once I started investing my time into it, I was like, okay, this looks really good. After playing the beta, I was like, this is great. Playing the beta again, this is really great. Playing the game now, I'm like, yo, I'm hooked. I don't think you've played Fighterz, Jessica.
I have,
You have
actually.
played Fighterz. What's your take on Fighterz, comparing it to Xenoverse? Even though it's unfair to compare, that is the recent game that people are so attached to.
It's illegal to compare.
And it's illegal to compare, but we have to make the comparison in terms of what you favor more so far. In the idea that there are certain people that love the 3D animation, they love the 3D atmosphere. They're not really attached to 2D fighters. And what I wanted to ask you is, what's your take on Fighterz? How would you compare that to Xenoverse? And where do you see the future of Fighterz going forward? Because in the FGC community, a lot of people are even hailing this as being better than Marvel vs. Capcom. I've seen already forums and debates stating that this game is already better than Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
And Street Fighter is a big thing. You can't just cross that line. So what's your take on the influence and the impact that Fighterz has? Do you think that eventually we might see a sequel, just like many other games? Just your take on Fighterz, and how do you feel about the game as
Well, personally, I'm not a gamer at all, really. I've only played Xenoverse a handful of times because gaming is not really my thing. However, Fighterz, I've also played a handful of times. I played the beta, and then one of my friends got the game, so I was able to play it. Personally, that's something that a game, even me, not being a gamer, I've considered getting because it is a really good game. I like the way the characters, they kind of connect to what I know the characters to be. So like just hearing the voices, getting to see the animation on it, seeing the fighting and the techniques, and actually getting to fight as the character. In my opinion, I think it's done so much better in Fighterz, and it had me more hooked than the couple times I played Xenoverse.
I know you love it. The
For those of you guys who don't know,
game's amazing.
He's
really good. I've only seen you play with Cell, Vegeta, Frieza.
Yeah, that's my
perhaps.
main team, but I'm learning Kid Buu.
So okay, you're a huge FGC guy. You love.
invested.
I know you love Street Fighter. I know you love
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom. Where would you place Fighters? Be honest. Like I'm not saying compare
above Street Fighter.
Above Street Fighter indefinitely.
In my list of my favorite fighting games. Period.
Yeah.
I enjoy Dragon Ball Fighters right now is my number 1.
Okay.
I like Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
That was good.
More than Street Fighter 5.
Okay.
Then next would be Street Fighter 5. And the very last, at the very bottom of my list, would be Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Okay.
It was pretty bad.
Okay.
But
in terms of not just enjoyment, but what do you think about Fighters being compared to Xenoverse? Because
Fighters,
it's unfair to say, because people are gonna say, well, why are you gonna make that comparison? The reason why is because that is the latest Dragon Ball game prior to Fighters. So how do you feel about those that aren't giving Fighters a chance?
If we are making a comparison, if we are gonna do it, and it has to be done, Dragon Ball Fighters completely destroys Xenoverse in terms of everything, competitive nature.
Let's do this gameplay.
Okay, gameplay, way better. The combo system is a lot more, a lot more in depth. It's not only set like for the advanced players, like they can really go in depth with the combo system, but it's very easy for newbies to get in as well because they have auto combos. They have the light button, medium button, hard button, and your special attack button.
Yeah.
So you can literally just mash the light button and it'll do an auto combo for you. Sure, the damage won't be good, but it's actually some of the auto combos are fantastic. Then you have the medium one. You can mash the medium button. That'll do an auto combo for you and actually end with the super.
Yes,
you don't even have to worry about doing the input, like the down quarter circle.
Yeah, some arcade type.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So it's very, the learning curve, very, very, very easy for individuals who want to get into a traditional fighting game. You don't even have to jump online. You can literally buy this game, focus on the story mode, practice on arcade mode, fight against the computer, go into practice mode, and then when you are used to the game and you want to jump online and face off in ranked, then you could do that. You don't even have to do ranked. If you want to get that experience and face off against other players, they have casual matches. They have something called party mode where you can have 3 people team up. So you, me, and Bubbles can team up on one team and take on 3 other people. 6 players.
We need to do that.
It is so freaking amazing. Can you imagine 6 of the most amazing Dragon Ball Fighters players on the same team? Okay? Maximilian Dude, Rhyme Style, myself, Alex, everybody, like all these different people who play this game, and we all just have a 6-player battle royale. That would be absolutely amazing.
I'm coming for you, Rhyme.
It would be absolutely amazing, and just the match would be so entertaining to watch because it's not just people button mashing.
So you're saying in terms of gameplay, Fighters over Xenoverse?
Gameplay, fantastic.
Okay.
Fighters over Xenoverse.
Okay. What about replay value? If you think about this, would you see yourself coming back to Fighters more or Xenoverse? Because you have played Xenoverse a lot. So
I played Xenoverse a lot. I mean,
Xenoverse in terms of replay value, coming back to the game more so than the other one.
In terms of Xenoverse, with all the mods and everything, on PC wise, Xenoverse has a lot of mods.
Yeah.
Fighters is also on PC. It has the potential to have as many mods, if not more, than Xenoverse.
Yeah.
So the replay value is indefinite.
Yes.
It can actually grow as, same way as Xenoverse. In terms of gameplay and everything, you can discover new things every time you jump into this game, into practice mode. You can always learn. You could choose one day, okay, my main team is Cell, Vegeta, and Frieza.
You always rotate,
Yeah, I can always say to myself, okay, I kind of really like Beerus. Let me learn how to play him.
Yeah.
You can literally dedicate a week to learning and becoming a fucking beast with this character.
The same thing,
You know what I'm saying?
My team currently is Black, Hit, and Frieza.
See, I want to learn. Deadly, I want to learn Hit because
Hit is amazing.
Hit and Kid Buu are very characters that I want to learn.
Hit,
and
she loves Hit, so
I'm sure she would play Hit.
Final category, story. Even though you haven't played it, I'll say this: I've played story.
From what I heard,
it's bad.
Yeah, I heard that it's all over the place.
Xenoverse 2, in my opinion, Xenoverse 2 story is better. Because
how about visuals?
Visuals, Fighterz.
Fighterz. Listen, Fighterz looks like...
Yeah, graphically,
oh
the Xenoverse 2 for its time, it looked great. I'm not gonna down the game, but obviously there's an upgrade.
Yeah,
for Fighterz.
Fighterz looks...
The shading, the lighting,
oh my God,
everything
the
looks
models
great.
themselves,
Yeah,
no matter what pose they're in.
I'm fairly certain that if a Xenoverse 3 came out, it has to look better than Fighterz. That's just
I
common
doubt
sense.
it, man.
I think it will.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna look at it like, okay, well, we upped it up from Xenoverse 1 to
That's
Xenoverse
Arc
2.
System. Arc System has always done that with their models, making it look 2D, but it's 3D.
Let's just see in terms of like what the deck holds. The only thing I wanted to ask you is, what's your take on the roster? And I wanted to start with Bubbles.
Okay.
We have Captain Ginyu, we have Kuririn, we have Ten Shinhan, Yamcha. Granted, fine. No Broly, no Gogeta, no Vegito, Merge Zamasu, no Bardock, nobody. I'm not saying let's just throw in a bunch of characters and just go to town. I'm saying, what are your thoughts on some of the other main characters that haven't been added? Even though a part of the story, what I don't like is Black, Hit, and the Super Saiyan Blues, including Golden Frieza, are in the game, but they're not in the story. It's horrible in terms of execution, but it is what it is. They're in the game. Other characters are not in the game. I'm fairly certain we're going to get Jiren and Ultra Instinct Goku, which would be amazing. But no Broly, no movie characters, no Cooler, no Gogeta. No, what's your take on that? Do you feel like they kind of like played you out and given you Captain Ginyu over Broly? Or how do you feel about that? Because I just feel like it's kind of like meh to me that they didn't include these characters. Broly has always been in every game since day one.
Well, there's two ways I would feel about that. Is that either they're going to take the canon route and they're going to just put mostly canon characters for playable characters.
Yeah, that could be true, actually.
Or there's a second one coming out. Well, obviously it wouldn't be anytime soon because the first one just came out this weekend.
With those characters included.
Fighterz 2 with the characters they didn't get to see in this one.
Would you say DLC is possible, including movie characters or maybe characters of that nature in there? Or
that could be a possibility, because if they start seeing a backlash that these characters aren't in it, and if more people like you are saying, no, Broly.
Imagine Broly in the game, bro.
Well, all right, would you guys consider Budokai 1 a classic?
Yes.
Okay, Budokai 1 had the same amount of characters.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, with a fighting game, you have to completely take that arena brawler aspect and throw it out of the window.
Yep.
Because, for example, Tenkaichi 3, I think up to date has the most characters out of any Dragon Ball games. So Tenkaichi 3, when you have a character roster that large, even with Budokai 2 and Budokai 1, a lot of characters were kind of just copy and paste.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that with the fighting game, you have a roster that's not only going to be diverse for what you have, but you can't tell me that in Fighterz, Nappa plays the same as Hit. Not gonna happen.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Even combo wise, like Frieza does not combo the same way. Doesn't have the same combo potential as Cell. You know, so the characters, each character plays in their own unique play style.
Yeah.
So Fighterz is meant to be taken a lot more in depth than Xenoverse.
Right.
Xenoverse, once you learn that characters like, you know, triangle combo or what leads into his ultimate, that's it. You know, like it's all a matter of like can you perfect block at the right time, and who runs out of you know, ki first and stuff like that, or who runs out of stamina first. Same thing with Naruto Storm, it's about a game of who runs out of substitution, who can outsmart the other person. Sure, in Fighterz it's about who can outsmart the other person, but it's also about skill. You need to have reaction time to know when the cross up, which is super fast, when is it going to happen, you know? Like in Xenoverse, you're in an arena. It's completely different. It's not the same. And I feel like Dragon Ball Fighterz, to be honest, as a game, Dragon Ball Z for me was always meant to be a 2D fighter. Always. It was always fantastic as a 2D fighter. I enjoyed Budokai. I did enjoy Tenkaichi. I did not enjoy Xenoverse, but I'm glad that, you know, it's Fighterz. And it brings about a lot of success. And I feel success is something very important that we should, you know, focus on when trying to grow as individuals.
Well, I mean, I think the game is successful, and I think people that are in the FGC community are going to become successful when they start competing in esports, when that game is going to be introduced and whatnot. But you bring about success, and I wanted to shed light on that a little bit, in the idea that we all want to be successful as individuals, right? Dating back to what we just said earlier, we talked about the American dream. A lot of us have personal motives as to why we want to be successful. Just putting this on record, for me, the reason why I want to be successful and the reason why I want to have so much is because I want to start a family. I really do. I want to start a family. Even though I haven't found a woman, the bottom line is I want to make sure that when I have kids, I want to give my kids everything that I never had, because I have a story, you have a story. You have kids, it's different because now it's like you haven't established yourself then because you were focused on other things, and now that you have a family, it's like, okay, that is always going to be the primary, source of like your motivation and whatnot.
Focus.
And for me, because I'm going to ask you the same question alongside you, my personal motivation for succeeding is due to the idea that I want to make sure to provide and give my kids everything that I never had, because growing up, a lot of people don't know, you lived in Queens, you live in Queens. I don't know how long you lived in Queens, but Queens used to be really bad, really bad. I was involved in street gangs. I was a part of a shooting in 2007 with the Latin Kings and the YGYO Bloods. I was there when the shooting happened on Madison. If I can find the newspaper article, I will show everybody. I was there. I saw the woman get shot, and it all started over an argument in a deli. One thing linked to another, and people started calling people. Next thing you know, there was dozens and dozens of people on the street. Bats, broomsticks, pipes, guns. And I never want to see my kids go through that, because I went through a lot of things, and I grind so much on YouTube. Not just YouTube, but professional wrestling as well. I get my ass kicked for a living for $20, $10 a night, trying to put my foot in the door to make it in WWE. Is it taking a toll on me? Yes. I have bruises all over me. I have bumps. I possibly have a torn rotator cuff. It is what it is. That's the route that I took, and that's what I'm taking and currently trying to strive for, in providing that one day when I do have children, I can make sure that they have a wonderful life and they at least are more happier than I was growing up. And I focus so much on my channel, as do you, as are you right now with your schoolwork and everything that you're trying to do. What is your motivation for success? Because as an individual, that's one part of as to why I want to be successful. There are other reasons as to I want to travel. I want to just live I would say you want to wake up every single day knowing that you never have to worry about a single bill. Because for as long as you live, the one thing that will always be with you until the day you die are bills. You can never escape that. You will never escape that. No matter who you are in life, no matter who you are, whether you're simple Brandon, Jessica, Alex, or Bill Gates himself, you will always be taxed and you will always be billed. But at least knowing that you have some fortune aside you that you can use in paying off those debts, you never have to worry. So obviously none of us ever want to worry about, bills and whatnot. What's your take as to why you want to be successful and what motivates you to be successful?
I mean, for me, right off the bat, my motivation is my family. Like, that's the reason I started my YouTube, just for my family. I remember me sitting in the bathroom talking with my wife. I was like, babe, I want to do YouTube. It's going to take a lot of my time. It might give us problems in our relationship. It's going to take up a lot of my time. I need you to support me. And she agreed. She said, yeah, I'll support you. So what happened? Here I am, and it's paying off. I'm telling you guys right now, it is paying off. YouTube has been a real big eye-opener. And, I mean, that's just my main form of motivation, my family. But my personal motivation, I mean, I'm just tired of working for other people, man.
Yeah.
Listen, if you guys can have the opportunity, think about it like this. I work in a pharmacy. I spend eight hours a day in a pharmacy counting medication and worrying about other people when I could be at home creating something for someone to enjoy, to appreciate me for, that I could be making money off of, that can only open up more paths to growth. Understand? And I'm over here wasting my time at work. I mean, I'm not wasting my time because I'm getting paid, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, like I feel like I don't want to work for somebody anymore.
You don't want to work for someone and feel underappreciated.
Right, and I don't want to feel underappreciated. I feel a lot more happy being at home, working from home. If I want to stop and go take a shit and come back 5 seconds later, I could do it. I mean, I'm not going to take 5-second crap, but you get what I'm saying. If I want to work in my pajamas, I could do that. If I want to work butt naked, I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying as an example. But I feel like there's a lot more that comes to you being self-sufficient and like providing for yourself as a person, as an individual. Your job, especially me being a dad, my job is to care for others. But when do I start caring about myself to try and improve it, try to improve my life for myself? You understand?
Yeah.
And it's not selfishness. at all.
No, it's not, because who else is gonna look after you if you're not looking
Exactly,
after yourself?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a certain line that you have to cross when you think, I need to care about my future. I need to care about myself. I need to become successful. It's not an option to try. It's not an option to say, like, you know, I might fail. I have to become successful. I have to make a YouTube channel that's gonna grow. You get me?
Yeah.
But what about you, Bubbles? What do you think?
Well, my motivation comes from my friends and comes from my family. I know that my YouTube channel, unlike you guys, I work with a team, and I have there's 9 of us on the channel, so I work with a team of 8 other people. And so for me, motivation is always there because it's me having 8 other people behind me helping me when I don't feel motivated and telling me why I need to get things done, and giving me that extra push because I do a lot of things on my spare time. Like right now, I'm still a student, so I'm still going to school. So it's like I always, will find myself having a very big lack of motivation. And, so for me, it's having the people behind me, like even just having the 2 of you guys, having Alex and Brandon with me, is having my motivation. And it's always, I find that from the people I surround myself with, because having such positivity and having people that have their lives more well together than I do is something that I always look forward to. And, you get that inspiration from your friends and the people that you surround yourself with that are very motivated and are able to handle themselves and handle a family. And moving forward, I mean, I do everything so that one day I can better myself, and so that I could learn to manage myself on my own without needing to rely on people as much to help me out. And I mean, my dream is to just live by myself with just a bunch of dogs.
No, yeah, no.
But
also never having to worry about, being in a financial situation to where you're like at your bottom dollar, like you're at your lowest point per se, because I'm sure you have had low points in your life. You can remember like a time where you're like, no matter what happens to me now, it would not be as bad as it was before. My lowest point was 2010 into 2011. That was, I'm gonna make a separate video on that, but that was, if anything happens to me now, it would not be as close as being as bad as it was then. But somebody might be watching this and saying, well, how would I get inspired, or how would I get motivated to continue? There have been times where you lacked motivation, sometimes where you were really down and out. Talking to me personally, so were you. And referably during the summer, you had your issues, and I remember we spoke about that, how you were so concerned about certain things, but now you have a bit of motivation to see the bigger picture and continuing forward. Now, somebody out there watching this might say, well, who am I? I'm just a normal person. Well, we're all normal people, you know what I'm saying? It's just the only thing that separates us is faith and determination, and a lot of us have more determination than the next person. And I think to be successful is to understand that who else is going to look after you but you? I can't sit there and say that I'm going to pay your bills, because I'm not. Just like you're not going to pay my bills. Am I going to be there for you as an individual, as a friend, as someone that's always going to care for you? Yes. But when it comes down to putting food on your family's table, you can't rely on anybody else but you, right? Being that you are the provider of the household as a man or a woman. I feel like to succeed, you have to look at yourself as more than just an ordinary person, because all of us have skills and talents. You have skills and talents that I don't. Voice acting and, computer editing when it comes to making mods and making music, especially music. I love the music aspect and I love the voice acting. I have talent as well. I do professional wrestling. I do lots of other things. So does Bubbles. You have writing. You have various other talents as well. A lot of us have talents that the next person doesn't have. And I feel like if you have a talent, no matter what it is, if you're an athlete, if you're an artist, if you're a composer, if you're a YouTuber, because some people, they have an incredibly amazing talent when it comes to YouTube alone, you ought to take the chance instead of just sitting there and saying, well, what if? Because I was one of those guys that I was making videos when YouTube first started. I had a SD pocket camera that I always carried around with batteries, and I was always filming my friends. We were all making skits, and I still have those videos up on YouTube right now. They're 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. And when I look back, I'm like, damn, I never even thought I'd be a YouTuber, but I did it anyway. I did those videos because I wanted to look back one day and saying, damn, I have memories with my friends in everything we did. So I feel like we as individuals need to look past our ignorance and saying, where do we want to be 10 years from now? We're going to be 33, 35, 36 years old. Do you still want to be working for somebody? Do you still want to be in school? Or do you want to be a person that excelled in life to the point where you never have to worry? And of course, some of us want to start a family. Some of us have a family. Some of us may not want a family. But the point is, it's like you want to live your life not having to worry. And I think the worst part about going about your life is always having to worry about tomorrow. Jay-Z said it best. If you wake up the next day and your first thought is, damn, I have to go pay this off, or damn, I have to go about doing this, then you're living your life. You're living your life the wrong way. Because the point of life is waking up and saying, what can I do now? Like, what kind of pleasure can I take in enjoying myself now, instead of worrying about, like, okay, I have a set time to do what I have to do before I go to work, before I do this, before I do that for somebody else. And it's proven that school isn't, I'm not saying that school is bad, but it's proven that people that have not went to college, can succeed. For example, Mark Zuckerberg, Donald Trump, Bill Gates. A lot of these people dropped out of college or were in college or never even went to college. Multi-billionaires.
That's true.
And that's through talent, determination, and just preserving your integrity and looking forward and seeing the bigger picture. Most people, they have that, but they don't see the bigger picture. So what's your advice in succeeding and giving someone advice? Someone may be listening to this and saying, well, how do I succeed? What do I need to do? What do I need to find in myself? That way I can just pick my head up and say, okay, I got this. Even if you fail, because success does come through failure. You know that, I know that. What can you tell somebody, or at least explain to somebody, in lifting up their spirits and saying, you can succeed only if you do said things?
Real quick, that camera's about to die, and also we only have a few minutes left.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like to be successful, you just have to have that motivation. And I'm telling you guys, there's gonna be a point where you lose that motivation, and you need to have something that's gonna kick you right in the ass to, put you right back on track. You're gonna get off track at one point. That goes for anything, whether you're trying, to go to the gym or you're trying to learn a new talent or something. There's something that's going to knock you off track, and you need to get back on track and just stick to it, because the only thing that's going to help you improve is you continuing to practice. Practice makes perfect, just you continuing to grow as an individual, and that leads to whatever you consider to be success. Okay, I'm a successful musician now because I constantly practice my piano. Now look at my skills. Everybody always starts somewhere. None of the YouTubers that you see today didn't start with 1 million subscribers. They started at 0. The same thing that you started at, same thing that I started at. So just keep that in mind when you guys, are thinking about something. Just remember that people who already made it started out in the exact same situation that you did, with 0 subscribers and just 0 everything. They weren't making millions of dollars a year. They literally were probably working at McDonald's or doing something that wasn't even like something subpar, like it wasn't even something amazing. So just keep that in mind, But yeah, that's my say.
I will say this. For anyone out there who lacks motivation, just remember, I think as a person, you matter. No matter what situation you're in, it can always get worse. But also remember that every situation could be better if you just take the time to just look ahead, have hope, and just work hard, because through hard work you can actually get somewhere in life and never having to worry. So we want to thank you all so much for watching the 3rd edition of the Inside Culture podcast. Once again, I am UnrealEntGaming, also known as Alex. This has been DevilArtemis, also known as Brandon. This has been PopsBedroom, also known as Bubbles. Our Twitter links and our YouTube channels will be located down below. Guys, if you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like down below. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, of course. If you guys are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to UnrealEntGaming, DevilArtemis, and of course PopsBedroom. Again, everybody, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for joining us, Bubbles. It's a real pleasure going to play Fighterz. And on that given note, anything else you want to?
No, just special thanks to Bubbles for coming by and having some fun and dropping by on this podcast. And if you guys are new to the channel, very important, turn on the little bell icon down below. Definitely hit that bell icon and subscribe if you're new. Give this video a like. Drop your comments down below on everything that we talked about today. If you guys have any thoughts about Logan Paul or success or just Dragon Ball in general, or any of the topics that we talked about today, or any thoughts that you have in your head that you want to share with us, definitely drop it down below in the comment section. And we'll see you in the next podcast. All right,
take it easy, guys.
Peace.